Hey guys, today I'm going to do a story that's pretty intense, involves a lot of names and stuff like that. I know a lot about it. I'm going to do it a different way. There was a pretty big article that came out about it. I was reading it, and there was a lot of mistakes or a lot of things they didn't even know. It was pretty accurate. And I was explaining it to Peanuts. And I wanted to do a story about it. So I said, I wonder if I make Peanuts read the story and I jump in and fill in the places that didn't come out and tell what I know about the story. I wonder how this would go over with the people listening and watching. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to try it out. If you guys like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. It's about the Banana family. So I'm going to have Peanuts start reading it. I'm going to jump in from time to time, and let's see how it goes. Go ahead, Peanuts.
This article is from July 10th of 2019. When Bonanno crime family Don Carmine Galante declared himself the so-called Capo di Tutti I Capis, or boss of bosses of New York underworld, the mafia's ruling body declared him a dead man walking. On the sweltering hot afternoon of July 12, 1979, the 69-year-old Galante and two of his men were killed in a hail of bullets on the patio of Joe and Mary's Italian-American restaurant in Brooklyn. It was a gangland assassination for the ages that sent the Bonanno clan careening off the rails for the next several years.
Let me tell you a little bit about Carmine Galante. We called him Lilo. And he was a real tough old goat. In prison, he would play handball. And, you know, when you lose, the next guy plays the winner. When he would lose, he would chase the winner off the court and tell the next guy, all right, now you play. I mean, nobody fucked with him and nobody did nothing, but that to show you his nature and how he was. When he got out of prison, he went directly to Canada. Now, a lot of you guys from Canada talk about what was the family like in Canada. It was never a family. It was a crew. It was a captain from the Bonanno family that went there. It was set up to be a drug smuggling operation. Drugs would go into Canada. It was easier to get them in. And coming from Canada into the United States, it was an easy route. So they put together this crew out in Canada. It belonged to the Bonanno family. Now, a family has a boss, an underboss, a consigliere. They never had a boss, underboss, and consigliere. It was created by movies and was created by the news, but it was never that way. So if you'd like to go on now, Peanuts, a little bit more, and I'll jump in from time to time.
Photos of the gruesome triple mob murder featuring a slain Galante with his trademark stogie clenched between his teeth splashed across the newspaper front pages around the globe. The image of a bloodied, lifeless Galante sprawled on the ground of a restaurant's patio went to become iconic, capturing the sheer brutality of the American mafia. Galante was born and raised in East Harlem and became a protege of both Vito Genovese and Joe Bonanno, two of the more widely known dons of the New York's five families at the height of the mob's power and prestige in the 20th century. Genovese taught Galante how to kill, and once did a hit on Genovese's behest on behalf of Mussolini. Bonanno taught him how to lead. He was Bonanno's driver and eventually his underboss. In the 1950s, Bonanno sent Galante to Canada to set up a satellite office for the family and establish a heroin pipeline between Montreal and New York.
That's just what I was telling you. Now, eventually, this guy, Phil Rostelli, was the boss of the family when he got out. He got out, and just like this article said, he declared himself the boss of the family. You can't do that. The only way to become a boss of a family is that the captains within the family vote and make you their boss. Then that decision goes to the commission, to the other four families, and they approve it or disapprove it. That's the only way you can become a boss. Now, it's happened in different places at different times where somebody declared themselves the boss, but that's the way it's supposed to go according to Cosa Nostra. Now, the commission definitely didn't like what he was saying or what he was doing. He even was claiming that he was going to become the boss of all bosses. That really set the commission on fire. That's something that he signed his death certificate. They said he was a walking dead man. Now, I had an experience. I went into a club on Bath Avenue one day, me and the old man Peruta, who was in my crew, was older than me. We went in, and there was a guy, Sonny Red, a very, very powerful captain in the Bonanno family, real tough guy. And this Lilo was there yelling at him. I heard it out of my own ears. I'm the boss. You're going to send me a fucking package, an envelope, every week. Money he's talking about. Now, I waited for Sonny to strike back or answer back, and he didn't. He said, okay, Carmine, every week there'll be an envelope there. When we walked out of the club, me and the old man Peruta, I told him, I said, wow, I can't believe my ears. I can't believe how he backed up on that. He says, Peruta told me, bro, I know this guy a lot of years. It's clicked in his head. He's going to kill this guy. Mark my words. And we left. Sure enough, according to this article, he was killed. He was killed by orders from the boss, Rosselli, sent down a beef to the commission and asking for their help to be killed. One of the biggest players in that thing, that hit, who was taking control for the commission, was none other than the underboss of the Gambino family, Neil Della Croce. I'll get into it further. Read a little bit more.
Canada booted Galante back to the United States in 1957 for extortion offenses, and 2 years later he took the first of two successive pinches, landing him behind bars in 1962. In the coming years, Bonanno would try consolidating the entire commission under his thumb. However, without Galante by his side as his top henchman, his plans backfired, the family broke out in war, and Bonanno ended up being forced into exile in Arizona. Paroled in 1974, Galante returned to New York and immediately made his intentions of taking over the city clear. The day he walked free from federal lockup in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, he ordered the tombstone of one-time New York mob chief Frank Costello blown to pieces by a hunk of dynamite. The commission tapped Philip Rusty Rastelli as the boss of the Bonannos, but Galante ignored Rastelli's appointment and named himself the new Don upon hitting the streets again. When Rastelli went to prison, Galante seized complete control of the family. He surrounded himself with a crew of young, eager-to-please imported Sicilian drug pushers for protection and access to their connections in the foreign narcotics market, and began touting himself as the city's boss of bosses.
Now, those guys that he brought around them, the Sicilians, some of them were not even made members they were made in Italy, but he put those people around him for protection. One of the head guys around him was his nephew. They got to them. Those are the people who actually set him up. They were going to bring him to this restaurant. That's where he's going to get slaughtered. Him and his bodyguards. So, and I'll talk more about that after she reads a little bit more.
The commission took exception. Just like when Bonanno aspired to do the same thing a decade prior, Galante was in over his head, blinded by hubris and greed, and his days were numbered. From behind bars, Rusty Rastelli plotted with the Gambino and Genovese families to bump off Galante in spectacular fashion. His murder was to be a statement. The commission's word is the word of God. No questions asked. Rastelli had his two capos, Alphonse Sunny Red and Delicato and Dominic Sunny Black Napolitano, coordinate the details of the hit. First, they made a back-channel deal with Galante's inner circle, the so-called Zips from Knickerbocker Avenue, led by his personal bodyguards, Cesar Bonventre and Baldo Amato, offering them promotion and a bigger piece of the family's drug rackets if they could get on board with the gangland coup d'etat in the works. Bonventre and Amato didn't blink in selling their boss out. They even served him up for the kill. Around 1 p.m. on July 12, 1979, Bonventre and Amato accompanied Galante to a lunch at Galante's cousin, Joe Turano's Joe and Mary's Italian-American restaurant on Knickerbocker Avenue in the Bushwick section of Brooklyn.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Those two guys she just mentioned, one of them is his nephew, the greaseballs who came in, the zips, whatever you want to call them. They left. Instead of staying outside guarding the door, they left. They left him inside with 2 or 3 more bodyguards. Sonny Red had the hit set up. His son, Bruno, was going to be one of the shooters. Another guy that he had with him, a guy named Trini, was going to be another shooter. They went in with pistols, shotguns. They went in for the kill. The door was blocked. Those guys were gone, his bodyguards. When they went into the back of the restaurant where he was sitting, and he was killed. Go on and I'll jump in again.
Turano was a soldier in the Bonanno family, and he hosted a spread on the restaurant's patio for Galante, the 2 handsome, trendily dressed Sicilian bodyguards he always had by his side, and a Bonanno capo named Leonard Coppola, a longtime staunch Galante ally in the family. At 2:45, in the moments after they finished their meal, and as Galante was lighting up his famous cigar for a post-feast smoke, 3 masked gunmen burst into the restaurant and headed straight for the patio. Once they reached the Godfather's table, Turano stood up and exclaimed, "Get out of here! What are you guys doing?" The hit team answered him with bullets. With Bonventre and Amato moving out of the way, the table was sprayed with gunfire from shotguns and pistols. Galante, Turano, and Coppola were killed instantly. FBI informants claimed the hit team was made up of Sonny Black Napolitano, Anthony Bruno Indelicato, who was Sonny Red's son, and Dominic Big Trin Trinchera, who was Sonny Red's beefy confidant and muscle. Bruno Indelicato was photographed by an FBI surveillance unit being congratulated outside a Manhattan social club ran by powerful Gambino underboss Neil Delacroce in the hours following the assassination. The younger Indelicato, Trinchera, and Cesar Bonventre were all rewarded with promotions to crew boss posts for their participation in the triple murder. Galante's slaying didn't stabilize the Bonanno family, though. Far from it. Turmoil in the aftermath of Galante's rub-out split the family into rival factions, with Sonny Black heading one and Sonny Red heading the other. And soon the rising tensions erupted with the 1981 Three Captains murders depicted in the 1997 Al Pacino-Johnny Depp movie Donnie Brasco, where Sonny Red, Trinchera, and fellow capo Phil Lucky Giacconi were slain inside a Brooklyn social club. Sonny Black was killed shortly thereafter when it was discovered he allowed an undercover FBI agent to infiltrate his crew. Bonventre was knocked off gangland style in 1984. Of the principal conspirators in the headline-grabbing mafia assassination of Galante, only Bruno Indelicato would be brought to justice. He was convicted of the murder at the commission trial in 1986 and did 13 years in prison.
Now, let me go back just a little bit in this story. It's true. Sonny Red, Philly Lucky, and Trini, Big Trini, were 3 captains on one side going to take over after the killing of Lilo, Carmine Galante. On the other side was Sonny Black. Sonny Black, one of his proteges was Joe Messina. They called in people from Canada. There was a guy there, I can't remember his name. He was a fancy dresser like John Gotti and all this bullshit. They brought him in and maybe another shooter from Canada. There was a meeting in this club of Sonny Red, Philly Lucky, Trini, supposed to be Bruno, his son was supposed to be there, but wasn't there. There was another captain there, Frankie Lino. Frankie Lino was a guy in our family, Joe Francolino's brother-in-law. That day, when they went in, they killed all 3 of these captains. guys from Canada, and guys from New York. Some of the people helping this situation was Neil Delacroce again. John Gotti or his crew, or some of them, had to get rid of the bodies or the weapons. They took part in that hit a little bit. Not the shooting part of it, but getting rid of the bodies. Joey Francolino was with Toto Arello, and that's who I was with. Joey Francolino came to me. I was in a crap game on Avenue U. And he came to me and he said, Sammy, I heard this story that there was a massive killing, and he's telling me the whole story behind it. He said, my brother-in-law was there, Francolino. We don't know where he is. You think he's dead? Could you help me? I said, Joey, I heard about this already, but it's very high level. Don't talk about it. Keep your nose out of it. I'll check it out, but I have to go to Toto to check it out. Joey Francolino wasn't a made guy at that time. He did become one later in life. So I went to Toto and I spoke to Toto. Toto told me the same thing. Sammy, let's not put our nose in this. It's a really big thing. It's a takeover of the family. It's a big thing. Stay low key with this. I said, okay. I told Joey the same thing. Joey got back to me. His brother-in-law was alive, Francolino, and got in touch with him. He must have went on the land, must have been real scared when this thing happened. They told him when they shot these guys right in front of him, this isn't for you. Just leave and shut your mouth. And he left, and he went on the lam. Then he came right back. When he came back, they called him in, and they said, we missed Bruno, Sonny's son. You have the contract. You have a relationship with him. Call him in, tell him you're going to help him, tell him anything, and kill him. So he had his contract. It never wound up happening. Bruno never came back in, almost like this article says, got arrested, stood trial for it, got convicted, and he got, I think, a 20-year sentence or whatever he got. Back then it was old law, 20 years, you could do 13 years. So that, I think, is legitimate, what she just read. So the article is pretty precise, but I'm filling in blanks that they didn't know. Whoever wrote this didn't know it. It's not that they're lying. It's a pretty good article. That's why I wanted to do this. I became very, very close, very friendly with Francolino because they were related, and parties I went to with Joey Francolino, he was there, and I got to know him. I was very friendly with him. I knew him before this whole thing anyway, but he was a good guy. He went to prison when I did. Same time I did, he went to prison. He got out. He's out now. I don't know where he is, but Joey Francolino, like I said, he's out. He's a made guy. And this was a hell of a story. And it gave me the idea of when I was a witness and I sat on a witness stand, there was a lawyer who would ask me, let me refresh your recollection. And they would read something to me. So when she got this article and she was reading it, I almost got that same feel. So I said, let me do this, something similar to that, because there was a lot of things missing in this article. I thought you guys would like it. If you like it, press like, always subscribe. If you don't like it, let me know in your texts or messages, and I would appreciate it. I enjoy doing it this way, and I think Peanuts is going to become the first made woman in the fucking history of the mafia if she keeps helping me like this. Okay, adios, amigos.